Hello friends and welcome. Today we're going to talk about RNG versus LGD. This game, if you haven't seen it, go see it. We're not going to watch the whole game, so you have a reason to. I just want to break down the crazy comeback LGD managed to pull off this game because they were really far behind. Everyone kind of thought it was over because the Spectre's net worth was so bad in this game, but they actually win. And I think a lot of that was due to the execution of a couple team fights. And to me, something I learned is really this response. They pick Spectre in their ninth pick as a response to this Nature's Prophet. And I think something that showcased in this game to me was the difference of a low cooldown teleportation that is 3 seconds versus a Spectre Haunt, which is a very long cooldown, but is instant. And I feel like that time difference really made this comeback possible for LGD. So we're going to break that down. We're starting here at like 17-ish minutes. We're mostly going to speed through this because at this point, RNG was still pretty much in control. And a lot of how they were in control, actually switch their perspective, is through plays like this, where because you have a low cooldown global teleport ability on your carry Nature's Prophet, who's top of net worth, and you have several stuns on your team, you just find someone, stun them, and then Nature's joins in, and you always outnumber the enemy. And so they do things like this, where they smoke, they try to make a play, and, oh, Puck can probably kill that Dazzle, so I don't need to TP in. Oh, but hey, here's this Spectre that just got stunned up. That's worth my time, so I'm going to come in and kill the Spectre. And they just kind of did this off the back of a very strong laning stage. They just made these kind of global plays and always brought the numbers. But as you get towards high ground, it starts becoming difficult to do that. And that's, I think, something LGD made a lot of use of. You get to do stuff like this, where you get to kill bottom, the Spectre, and the Dazzle, and then immediately Puck and Wind Ranger broke off because Global teleports up. They looked for another kill, and if they had needed him, Nature's Prophet could have come in. But turns out Wind Ranger and Puck at this point were enough to kill the mid Pango, so they didn't have to. RNG does try to make use of this. Only Nature's has the global teleport, so it's like, okay, they just went over here. Let's try to jump the Nature's. And they actually do kill the Aegis pretty easily, use Haunt for it. I actually think they probably should have just gotten out here. Hindsight's 20/20, right? Easy for me to say this, but the 5 seconds of Aegis was enough time for, you know, more heroes to rotate in, and then again, RNG's bringing the numbers. But this was the last big fight that LGD really lost, I would say. Fortunately, they didn't lose this set of racks. It was really close, and I think RNG, again, hindsight, you know, easy to say, probably should have pressured this a little bit more. Maybe at least pick up the ranged barracks because it's easier. They actually, I'm not going to rewind to show you, but the creeps went on the ranged, and they tried to focus the melee. It's literally the difference. You know, if the range had, if the melee creeps or all these creeps had helped kill the melee creep, they probably would have gotten it. But if they're worried about the time, they probably should just focus the one the creeps are doing for the extra damage, pick up the range, and get out. In this case, they just barely don't get the melee either. Oh, I say barely. It's like at 300 health. But, you know, it's pretty close, and having this barrack would have helped them with the lane control and everything, and maybe avoid some of the fights they end up losing later on. But from here, you know, they didn't think they would throw their lead, I'm sure, you know, so they just decided to still play it safe. And Spectre, okay, this probably seems silly, right? If you watch this game live, Spectre was dying all the time. 8 deaths at this point. And yeah, you don't want that to happen on your Spectre. But I actually think Spectre is the hero that needs to do this kind of thing because Spectre is 5.6k. That's awful, you know? But she must get net worth. There's no way you win this game without Spectre getting farm. However, in terms of the immediate defense, Spectre is the least important person because she has 5.6k as a carry Spectre. Dazzle and Earth Spirit, this is not that weird, right? As a support, that's about as much net worth as you might have at this stage. You know, maybe a little more in a better game, but like they can do their jobs. And the same way, Pango and Razor, even though they would love to be a little richer, there's a BKB on the Razor, there is a Diffusal, a Blink being worked on, you know, the ult from the Pango. So they have the levels and the gold where if they are in a good fight, you know, maybe not a 4v4, 5v5, but like 3v2 with 3 LGD heroes, they're strong enough that you have to respect that. And so I think they wanted to like let Pango and Razor be in the safer parts and have Spectre do some of this like risky stuff because your like possible results are Spectre gets farm, great, or Spectre dies. And Spectre actually so happens to be one of the less important heroes at this stage. Whereas to hang on immediately, we need our very strong, our relatively strong core heroes. And from here on, any fight we lose is very dangerous because now this Rax is exposed. And this is like the tilting point of the game, I think. They could easily lose here. So from here on out, you'll see them play very safe. All these core heroes I just talked about, letting Spectre take some of the riskier stuff. Everyone else plays it really cool. And this is where I think RNG... I don't know if it's a full-on RNG mistake or just a very good play by LGD. Up to here, RNG really abused the fact that we have this global teleport. We always take the fights with the numbers. Here was like, a one-off mistake maybe, and there was a couple other mistakes. But they were, relatively small in the grand scheme of things. Here, for a brief moment, Puck like moves this way to farm. Marcy moves this way. Now Marcy's got the blink, so this one's not as bad. I think Puck not being ready to like instantly silence and everything, thinking they had a bit more time to like grab this farm. They split up for just a bit, and because of that, this roll comes in, stun into the kickback, and Puck's not ready to silence yet. Puck doesn't want to like use the blink in now, but if Puck was in the area, could have silence and then use the blink to get out safely, or use the illusory orb to get out safely. But now they used it to farm. Kick the Viper back into the Pango roll, into the link, all of that. Now you're under the tower, the tier 2. You've got Dazzle in a good spot. These heroes are strong, and this guy's half dead. From the carry Nature's Prophet perspective, who has a 3-second teleport, something we talked about earlier, right? He's just here, he's chilling, farming, everything seems fine, the team's like doing stuff, and then suddenly something happens. Oh, better go check the map. Do I want to start a 3-second teleport? Like, what does this fight look like in 3 seconds? Where do I need to go? Because this guy's half dead, and he's under the tier 2 tower. The roll's already going out. The link is already stealing a bunch of damage, so if I come in, like, I will have my damage, but Razor's going to have, like, 100 extra damage plus. Where, like, do I join this? And so because of that, they managed to take this nice fight where they pick up 2 kills. Dazzle with the extra... with the mech and the extra armor and heal from the tower, survives through the Puck. And then here we get a little bit of a unfortunate play where he was just about to finish the teleport. You can still see the trees here, right? He was so close to finishing the teleport bottom, start pushing this in like, oh, we lost this fight, whatever. But then Puck sees the Dazzle and goes in. So he's like, oh, maybe I should join this. And so he like starts teleporting here. His screen's over here. This, even happens to pros. You happen to look away from your character for just a bit, looking at other stuff, and then they find you, and he's half dead at this point before even BKBs. Still BKBs to try to get out. But here's the difference. Spectre instantly in to contribute her 5K net worth. 6K, sorry. This is kind of like one of the good things about Haunt. She can instantly join in, participate in this kill, and then instantly join another one because of Haunt, and then find another kill, or at least, the assist, which is, she'll take that. She just bumped her net worth up by a bunch. Nature's Prophet would have still been channeling his teleport in that time. So as we transition out of this early mid game into the late game, these like instant big teamfight ults are easier to work with, I think, for Spectre and her team. And I think there's a lot of pressure on the Nature's Prophet player to pick the exact correct spot to teleport to, because if you're wrong, you got to restart a 3-second teleport. And as you see in these kind of fights, 3 seconds is enough to decide the fight, and at that point, you're like, there's no point anymore. So I think it's a lot harder for Nature's Prophet's global teleportation. I think you have to be very careful with it in these fights. So we can kind of like zoom in from here, get to the major fights I want to talk about. This is kind of another pick off by RNG. They're gonna have to use their roll, and they're just gonna use this time to get out. They're still waiting. They've now showed like we can win fights. That that series of events got Razor a lot of farm, and he's just trying to finish this refresher. This will be a huge power spike for him. Spectre just trying to get anything, trying to finish his Manta. Earth Spirit kind of has what he needs to save buyback. Pango wants his blink, also needs to save buyback and try to like make space for his team. He's the most survivable in terms of mobility, and he's got his buyback ready. he can instantly clear the waves like this too, and then get out, you know, run into these trees. From RNG's perspective, you know, like, do we like teleport down here, give up map control up here? You know, like he might be teleporting out already by the time we get down here, you know, like, I don't know, maybe we shouldn't do it. So, you know, you send Anna in, or Anna, but, you know, he can't check all the trees, so in the meantime, Pango's just chilling. He's like, just wait for the next creep wave. I'll just wait for more heroes to show, and if no one shows, maybe I'll get out. No one's showing. Oh, there's Viper mid, so I'm just gonna like wait for the next creeps and then burst them and then get out. Because before they were like top, now they're mid. And I was like, okay, so like if they smoke over here, they could find me. So now it's time to get out of here. I got my gold for the blink, and I worked a bit towards the buyback. He waits till he's like TPing out. I actually think he should probably wait till the TP finishes to buy the blink, just in case he does end up having to buy back, like he gets picked off. Earth Spirit's gonna ward down here for whoever continues to split push down here. Someone's gonna have to do it. It might be Pango, it might be Spectre. This is the easiest lane to do it though. RNG is most likely to give up this lane because mid and top are both full health and near Roshan, so they want to protect those more. This lane, you know, half dead, farthest away from Rosh. It's the most natural one to fall anyways. So for LGD, who's so far behind, you know, 14k at this point, like, okay, like let's, this is the lane we're going to get. So like, let's try to make it safe for whoever's split pushing in the future. In the meantime, they're still just waiting for the refresher. And you'll notice they are all playing really safe. These 4 guys we highlighted earlier who are very critical to the team fight. Spectre is going to like do these kind of like push out moves, but also run into the trees, to play it safe as much as possible. But if someone were going to die, you know, Spectre has been doing this kind of stuff a little bit more than like sitting in the base, because she'll never find enough farm just sitting in the base. She has to take these kind of risks. But, you know, occasionally they can let her do this stuff. Okay, let's get to the big stuff. Razor sold his wand to pick up this refresher. This is the timing they were waiting for, and this is where LGD starts to execute things really well and really safely. And that's not to say it would always work. RNG, we can say, got a little lucky, or maybe played into the hands a little bit of what LGD tried to do. But I feel like LGD really did this stuff very cleanly and gave themselves the highest chance for these kind of fights to work out. So 4 people smoke up. You got Spectre doing this stuff. This is very normal. You know, bottom was already pushing out in their favor, so they have time to do this. They don't have to deal with like 3 lanes at once. They do have to get mid to push out. So they're going to let Pango do that. This is pretty normal, right? Pango, let's say they were just sitting in their base still. You know, Pango would do this kind of thing. He'd swashbuckle this out, barely reveal himself. It was no big deal. They're going to let Earth Spirit be the guy to take point on this stuff. Why? He's the most expendable. He has buyback. So if he dies, like he runs into 5 heroes, dies, he can buy back, rejoin in. He's a support, no big deal. But he's fairly tanky as well. So it's not going to be as easy to just instantly burst him as the Dazzle. You also don't want it to be Dazzle because Dazzle got Grave, right? And the heal. So you want Dazzle to be in the back, you know, helping out whoever is getting gone on. So Dazzle can't be the guy in front. You don't want it to be Razor, because Razor's got the BKB refresher. This is your big trump card. You can't let him get killed. Remember Ana, you know, half dead before he BKBs. If he's half dead by the time he BKBs and like starts throwing out this stuff, you might just be able to kill him. And then there goes our huge power spike. So we have to give Razor the ideal conditions to go in. So we can't let him go in first, even though he's probably the most difficult person to kill for his team. And then there's Pango, who's going to be rolling and blinking and doing all this annoying stuff, right? He has to get the roll off. Otherwise, he's still going to be controlled by like Coil, by some of these stuns. So he needs to be further back to guarantee the roll and then to like pick the right spots to go to create the most chaos wherever the fight ends up being. So you need this Earth Spirit to go in first. Now, do we go crazy with that? No. We pick where we want to go. We picked top because Roshan is coming up. Is it up yet? Yes. They don't know that, though, because they can't see in this pit. But they know, like, Roshan will be an objective around this time, so we need to be in this area. And because we're going to have to take the cleanest fight we possibly can, we want a cliff ward to give us this great vision we're seeing right now. Conceptually, the same stuff can happen exactly down here, same ward on the cliff and everything, but there's no major objective here. You know, you could maybe do this if this was, like, the last set of racks and you know the enemy team's going to come down here, then, like, yeah, sure. But Roshan's up here. This just makes more sense of where to go. They stay here. They get this outpost because they're smoked. The enemy team doesn't know like who's there. And they're just going to keep waiting here. because another set of observers and a sentry is going to come out, and they're going to do the exact same thing. Earth Spirit, you get in there. Like, go find out what's happening for us, Earth Spirit, because none of us want to be the one doing this. And Spectre, you know, Spectre's going to like haunt in the fight doing Spectre stuff. Now, from RNG's perspective, this is why you send in the Earth Spirit, because they did have wards set up on this cliff just moments before. They had vision prepared here. However, they did not yet have time to fully get up on this high ground. And this is where I think, again, a little bit of a like slightly less clean performance compared to LGD. And it's like the difference. LGD had the whole team ready for the smoke. They had all their abilities ready, and they were all ready to like move into this area. And they're all literally here, right? We know that. They are mostly here. We have 3 heroes and our global teleport hero, you know, who we can include as being here. But Viper is just like slightly further away. And this doesn't seem that big of a deal. But in these fights, I feel that just a couple seconds like makes a difference at this stage of the game. And because of that, they're not quite ready to move up on this high ground. That's why they've been waiting here. And as a result, LGD is in a better position. They're on the high ground. They have vision set up on 2 cliffs. They do have the vision here, but to make use of it, everyone's gonna have to like blink up on the high ground, and you're not sure who's over here. Having said that, they do jump this Earth Spirit. This is why we sent this guy in first. Two nukes from Puck. Here's the auto attack and the Witchblade. Here's a stun. Only, you know, 1/4 my health gone. Great. Puck, or sorry, Dazzle? Dazzle would be like dead. Dazzle's like half health at this point, you know? Ready to die. Nature's Prophet begins the TP. 3 seconds it takes him to join this fight. The stun's almost off of Earth Spirit at this point. The roll's already coming in. Razor's starting to like use his abilities to like scout out what's going on. He's ready to BKB, has so much time to react. Let's go back to their perspective. RNG still doesn't know where Dazzle is. And yeah, they probably know like Spectre somewhere up, but Spectre will haunt into whatever Spectre decides to join. Coil being used on Earth Spirit as well, really trying to control this guy. Razor chooses to kill the wards. Everything he can do right now, he's killing the vision. Because you need to take a clean fight, which means the enemy, you can't give them vision. And around this high ground, let's switch back to what they were doing. Now that they've lost that ward, look at their vision. It's really like, we're getting some vision from Ana now, but like everyone else is stuck on the low ground. All their blinks are canceled by the Spectre haunt. This fight suddenly got a lot harder to take. We can't shoot up skill shots. We don't know where Dazzle is to pick him off. All of that. It's a lot harder. Now, granted, if the positioning had been different, maybe Razor does choose to do something else. At this point, when he chose to kill the ward, like Ana had just finished his TP, and the other really good person to link is the Viper. And Viper's down here on the low ground, a bit further away from the Razor. So yeah, maybe if Razor was like over here, he's probably just linking and fighting and not running over to this ward. But because of the way the fight worked out, he chose to like kill this ward first before then joining the rest. And I think this is enabling the Dazzle, who's like got to sit in the back until this stuff is down, to then be able to come in. If Razor like just ignores this and then goes over here, I feel like Dazzle will feel he has to do this, but then Dazzle's more likely to be killed. So then maybe Dazzle has to stay over here, and in which case you just let the enemy have like full vision of this fight as well. Now, Ana had to TP in. Again, going back to that idea of 3 seconds, if he chose to cancel it, he has to start it again. And the roll is coming out. You know, like this is the fight deciding time. You got to like be here. So I feel like he ended up finishing his TP. The roll ends up controlling Viper. This whole time, like Viper's barely able to do damage. Here's the Grave to save our Earth Spirit. This is why we sent him in first. Here's the Haunt, who instantly joined to like start working on this Nature's Prophet, who I don't even know if this was like the wrong spot in the end. I guess it was. I guess like the team, I feel like RNG should not have finished this fight and jumped on that Earth Spirit without seeing anyone. But because of that, like he was out of position, he's gonna die. Viper, if Viper had BKB, this is what the cast was talking about. Like he went Hurricane Pike, you know, maybe with BKB he's like doing more stuff at this point. He's not. If he was, you know, the ult is probably out on the Razor. He's like getting poison damage on like different heroes, but instead he's just been like controlled this whole time. We're controlling a Marcy, she's dead. Puck tries to go for the like supports in the back, but at this point, you know, he's like doing this blind, doesn't have the best vision, gets stunned up, silenced, all this. Ends up being picked off as well. and now LGD gets to do Roshan. So this kind of fight won't always work out, but I think LGD did like everything right they needed to. They sent the right heroes, they like had the right patience, waited for the right things. And LGD or RNG did almost the same stuff, but just like slightly off. Like one hero's a little further away, one hero's in a little bit of a different position. And like, you know, there's a lot more pressure on the Nature's Prophet to like pick the exact right spot to go in. Spectre just gets to like haunt wherever and join stuff. So I think it's tough. Okay, jumping ahead to keep this video timely, they kind of do the exact same thing. Like, we get every hero we need together. We safely approach an area we already have vision. We still need a very controlled fight. Even though I think the last fight was the really big one they needed to win. At this point, 9K behind at 30 minutes is not actually that crazy. Like, that's within a normal enough game. The big issue was like the earlier deficit with how far behind the Spectre was. At this point, they're kind of playing a more normal game, but it's still like controlled fights are very important. So they come to where they have vision. They know the enemy dewarded here. They don't know if there's like a ward there again. So they're a little careful about it. They want to like recap their outpost, look at their positioning. You know, the two heroes who you have a little more, again, the Earth Spirit, like we can let him die. Pango, I think you don't want him to die, but you do want to cap this a little faster to minimize risk. And you don't want it to be the Razor. You don't want it to be the Dazzle. So they're like back here waiting while these guys cap it. And then, of course, Spectre will just like haunt in when they want to. Now, I actually don't think they quite wanted a fight to break out right away. Spectre was really close to Ags. And I think, you know, she has haunt. But I think they were thinking like, okay, she'll clear this wave. We'll get Ags. And then we'll have Ags and haunt for the fight, and we're gonna be like ready to find that fight like right away. So again, we put the wards on Earth Spirit, we smoke, we get ready to go, and then unfortunately they run into them right away. And this is not the fight that they were quite expecting, I think. I think this could have gone a lot better for RNG. This comes back again to the instant nature of the like Spectre versus the Nature's Prophet, I feel, and like other carries, because I think here's a bit of a trap that I've been noticing Nature's Prophet as carries run into more. They keep trying to like maximize this like I farm and then join fights, but I really think as you get into the late game, fights are decided like instantly. Like imagine a PA behind this puck. PA is like killed Dazzle already. Like a dagger's flying and killing this Dazzle. Even if Nature's Prophet TP's in right now, it's 3 seconds. At which point, you know, you got Glimmer, Mech, you got like, okay, maybe he doesn't have any defensive items, but like BKB, stuff like that's already popping off, all of these. I feel like this is where I've noticed, like, I feel like several Nature's Prophet games get a little wacky here, where usually a normal carry would be here already winning this fight, but in Nature still has to like teleport in. And Dazzle, you know, also gets his Glimmer Cape off because, you know, not being instantly killed in this initial jump, and they actually didn't have detection for him. Oops. Because of that, Dazzle survives, getting his Glimmers off. Very fast reactions from the Innocents here. And then you get, like, the roll-off. Nature's Prophet still isn't here, but Spectre has joined. Like, as soon as she decided, oh, Dazzle and my team did not instantly die, and it was a terrible fight, like, this actually looks turnable, I will now participate right now. I will haunt. I will be here. And Nature's is still like deciding like, do I go? Do I not? There's not a flame to the player. Like, I think this is just a lot of trouble with the carry Nature's Prophet. He has to pick the exact right spot to teleport to and not get like linked and all this. And he needs to like figure out where the fight's going to be in 3 seconds. Otherwise, he has to cancel his TP and start a new one in 3 seconds. And by the time his like teleport would have canceled, like, look, this person's dead, like this person's dead. He was gonna TP up here, but he ended up having to cancel it because the roll was going through there, and like it wouldn't have been a good spot anymore because his team was like stuck down here, and like they had all survived. So that's why he like ends up walking into this fight, and now he like starts to contribute. You can see the damage he starts to add in, but that damage should have happened before like all these BKBs and everything started going on, like rolls are happening. It wanted to be like in that initial jump. Again, not a flame to the player. I think just part of the issue with Nature's Prophet. And I kind of wonder, again, just like 6K garbage here, but I wonder if like Nature's Prophets need to actually like walk with their teams more in some of these fights, or the teams need to take more controlled fights. Because in this case, RNG, if we like go back to look at that, RNG's vision, I don't know if they like thought they were getting a pick off or not, because all these heroes are missing. So they see that's this stuff going on. They see creeps. They see this stuff happening, and so that's why they go. But I feel like they need to think this is a 5-on-5 going on, and I wonder if Nature's Prophet needs to be like pump faking the teleport so that if a fight does break out, he's instantly there versus here after 3 seconds. Because from RNG's perspective, like they come in, this is about as good of a jump you can get. You find the Dazzle on the front line. Maybe a Pango here would have been nice too, because Pango getting him in the coil would have been, you know, maybe a little better than the Razor, because Razor can just BKB still. But like at this time, Nature's Prophet is still back here, still deciding like where do I go in. I don't know. Maybe if he had just TP'd and committed to it, it would work better. But I think even if he had completed it, like I don't know. Like I think Dazzle lived, and that was its own issue. But then, like, the jump factor's down and Spectre's already in the fight by the time you're coming in. Like, your teammates are already, like, dead by the time the TPs are completing. And I think a normal carry wouldn't have that issue. Of course, a normal carry would not maybe have had the same early game impact as a Nature's Prophet. Yeah, I don't know. Actually, I don't have an answer to this because I'm not on a pro team and I'm not that, you know, I'm not as good as these players. So, I'm not going to, like, say what they need to do or not. But that was just something I've been thinking on after watching that game and looking around on it. And I wanted to share those fights in particular, especially that first fight we covered, I thought was really cool. I feel like LGD always does this. They do a lot of things just very cleanly. Like, here's what we need to win a team fight. Here's all the boxes to check. And they check every box. Like, we need all the heroes here right now. We cannot waste like a couple seconds. So we must all be together. Like, we need vision. Here's the right hero to do things. Here's the hero to risk. Here are the heroes to be in the back. I feel like they always check all these boxes very cleanly. And I feel like that's what let them come back to this game. Like a little bit of a sloppier performance. You send the wrong hero up here, or Dazzle's the one warding, killed. You send, you don't have the full team. You have Pango a little further off over here while the team's up here. And then like Pango has to spend like 5 extra seconds running over before the roll comes in. Totally different team fight, you know? So I feel like they're just always very clean on this stuff, and I always like seeing it. And hopefully you guys liked seeing it from this perspective as well. I'm not going to cover the whole game. We're going to stop here. Thanks for watching. If you would like me to cover full games, let me know. But I kind of feel like that's what the official channel does, so I don't feel the need to like do the whole game. Plus, a whole game in this detail would be like literally 2 hours. It's already like 30 minutes for like, you know, 10 minutes we watched. So hopefully you guys just like this like key breakdown of a couple big interesting things. So that's it. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.